When you look out through a window, it rarely occurs to you that the transparent shine of that glass has such a simple, yet astonishing origin. The object you see every day without a second thought begins with a single particle, one so light that it can even drift through the air. A grain of sand, the very same sand scattered across every beach or layered for centuries along the beds of rivers. However, sand suitable for making glass is far from ordinary. As of today, more than 100,000 tons of glass are produced worldwide every single day, and Brazil alone manufactures nearly 1.5 million tons of glass each year. These figures clearly show how deeply glass is woven into modern life, from buildings to vehicles, from mirrors to mobile phone screens, and even solar panels. To support such massive production, countless tons of sand are carefully prepared every day. Sand suitable for glassmaking is not ordinary sand. It must contain a very high concentration of silica. This type of sand is sourced from riverbanks, sandy slopes, and specific sedimentary rock formations. After mining, it is washed, screened, and purified to remove impurities, ensuring uniformity and making it suitable for the glass manufacturing process. The cleaner and more consistent the sand grains are, the higher the quality of glass that can be produced. However, sand alone cannot be transformed into glass. It requires additional companion materials that make the process easier and more efficient. Sodium carbonate lowers the melting point of the sand, making it possible to melt. Limestone adds strength to the glass, allowing it to withstand both heat and pressure. Along with these, recycled glass fragments are also added to the mixture, as they melt more quickly and help conserve energy. When all these ingredients are combined, they form a dry batch, the first solid step in the journey of glassmaking. Now comes the place where sand completely abandons its former identity. Massive furnaces, operating continuously for 10 to 15 years without interruption, take over. Inside, the temperature gradually rises to nearly 1,500 degrees Celsius. As the mixture is immersed in this intense heat, it melts and transforms into a glowing, molten liquid. During this process, gases escape, impurities float to the surface, and constant internal movement ensures the material becomes uniform in composition. This is the moment when sand relinquishes its existence. It is no longer just sand. It begins its transition into a new, more refined, and far more useful form. This transformation is so beautiful, so subtle, and so powerful that witnessing it leaves anyone in awe of the combined artistry of nature and science. But the story does not end here. What follows is a remarkable scene where this molten material begins to form a smooth, flat, and almost perfectly uniform sheet, without any human touch and without any mechanical polishing. As it leaves the furnace, the glowing hot glass enters a chamber where a calm pool of molten tin lies beneath it. As soon as the molten glass reaches the tin, it begins to float on its surface, much like oil floating on water. Because of the difference in density, it does not sink, but instead spreads out into a flat, even layer. The atmosphere inside this chamber is carefully controlled to prevent oxidation of the tin. For this purpose, gases such as nitrogen and hydrogen are introduced, keeping the environment stable and clean. In this calm and controlled environment, the molten surface of the glass slowly spreads and takes the form of a sheet whose thickness is nearly uniform in every direction. Regulators and speed control mechanisms along the edges determine its thickness and width. This method proved so effective that it revolutionized the glass industry, providing the world with perfectly flat, transparent, and virtually flawless glass for the first time. Once the glass cools sufficiently and begins to separate from the surface of the tin, it is sent on to the next stage. At this point, the glass is able to hold its shape, but it still lacks the internal stability required for everyday use. For this purpose, the glass is moved into a long, tunnel-like furnace where the temperature is gradually and carefully reduced. This process is commonly known as annealing. Here, the glass is slowly cooled from around 600 degrees Celsius down to room temperature. This controlled reduction in temperature relieves internal stresses within the glass and gives it strength. If this step is not carried out properly, the glass may crack later or fail to achieve the required durability. After this, the glass sheets are cut using extremely precise machines, some into standard sizes, others according to custom measurements. The cutting is so accurate that with just a light score, the glass separates cleanly and effortlessly. But even here, its journey does not come to an end. Each sheet's surface must be free from scratches, bubbles, or any kind of defect. In modern glass factories, control rooms continuously monitor the entire process. Thickness, color, temperature, and overall quality are checked in real time. If any flaw is detected, the sheet is immediately removed and sent back to be remelted. The sheets that pass all quality tests are carefully stored in an upright position, with protective materials placed between them to prevent any damage during long-distance transportation. But the story of glass is not limited to industry alone. There is another world, the world of artisans, where glass becomes an art. Small furnaces, glowing molten glass, and skilled hands come together. Artisans gather molten glass on long metal rods and shape it within moments. The blending of colors, speed, and experience all work in perfect harmony. On one side, there are massive machines and continuous industrial processes. On the other, there is the human touch and creativity. Yet both share the same goal: to create glass that makes our lives safer, more convenient, and more beautiful. So the next time you look out through a window, see your reflection in a mirror, or slide your finger across a mobile screen, you might remember how extraordinary, complex, and inspiring the journey of this seemingly simple material truly is. From a single grain of sand to the brilliance that fills your everyday life with light. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment to share your thoughts.